me softly with the song. Killing is right.
What's wrong with my voice?
Well, you'd be an asset to the ship in fog.
Huh.
What do you use for soap?
Oh, it's one of these all-over body rubs.
Comes in gallon jars, does it?
Guaranteed to knock the ladies of Blythloon off their feet.
Yeah, by asphyxiation. And get a move on. You'll be late for the meeting.
What meeting?
No, well, I was in the shower. The captain is addressing all officers in the wardroom in 10 minutes.
On what subject, pray?
Behaviour at tonight's reception.
Praise the Lord and pass the canopies.
A small chat and even smaller drinks. Gentlemen.
Sit down, please, gentlemen. Now, I hope I don't have to tell any of you how to behave at a reception in a foreign port, but the circumstances of our being in Locloon are rather unusual. Locloon is not simply, as I heard able seaman Grogan describe it, a poor man's Isle of Wight in the East China Sea. That may have been the case once, but Locloon now owns an oil field. An oil field which makes the North Sea look like a quart can of multigrade. And the UK wants favourable concessions on that oil. HMS Hero is here to remind the Locloon government that we British are jolly good chaps. In particular, we have to convince their Minister for Foreign Affairs, a gentleman named Z.K. Lim. Is that right, Jim?
Spot on, sir.
Mr. Z.K. Lim, who is to be our host this evening. Yes, James.
Well, according to my information, Mr. Z has less sense of humour than the average cockroach. He's a stickler for protocol and good manners. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. And the last time he showed any emotion was when the midwife smacked him at birth. In consequence, you will drink sparingly and smoke only if you start to twitch. Now, in case you've forgotten after 3 days on passage, the female of the species are the ones who dance backwards. Their only problem is that they usually belong to someone else. Leave it that way. Do not linger until the entire island has run out of booze. Do not say that you're only here for the oil, and refrain from putting words to the Locloon national anthem. Right, any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Kenneth.
Could you say what is a safe topic of conversation?
Where did you go for your last leave?
Chatham, sir.
You're in trouble.
Good. Well, that's it. And despite all that, enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much.
Brace yourself and think of England, eh?
It's a reception, not a rape.
In the good old days, one could lead to the other.
You've been reading my mail.
Zoe.
Your PO steward insisted I made myself comfy.
Well, how did you get here?
Big silver bird, flap wing, all the way from Hong Kong.
What for?
Well, if it didn't, it would fall out of the sky.
Yes. I mean, why are you here, in Locloon?
Would you believe I came to see you?
I'd like to believe it. Drink?
Vodka tonic. How was Singapore?
Interesting. Less so than your reasons for being here in Locloon.
You won't buy the undying affection bit.
Undying affection won't buy airfares. There wouldn't be a story in it, would there?
Well, just to cover expenses, thanks. I want to crack at Z.K. Lim.
Why?
Oil's news.
Oil?
Come off it, Edward. You're not here for the grouse shooting. In the past 6 months, Locloon's had visits from the French, the Russians, and the Americans, and now the Royal Navy. Because everyone wants the oil.
How do you propose to get it, Z?
He's giving a reception tonight, isn't he?
Yes, in about half an hour. For the officers of HMS Hero and the British consular staff.
And Zoe Carter?
I can't invite you to Z's party.
Can't or won't? You afraid I'll stir it up and not follow the party line?
Frankly, yes. I've seen you in operation, Zoe, on a story.
I thought that perhaps you'd want to help.
Well, I do, you know I do. Zoe, it's a delicate situation. Z's a difficult man. I have a duty, responsibility.
What's the quotation? I could not love thee, dear, so much. Loved I not honour more?
Something like that.
Had a choice, you know. I could have gone to New Zealand and covered a Maori festival. I came here because I thought you would want to see me.
I do, very much. But I don't want you rocking the boat with Z.
Who says I'll rock the boat?
You might. Officially, HMS Hero is here on a formal visit to Locloon to show the flag. Oil isn't on the agenda.
Then you can't deny that you're here to make an impression. Flatter them with a naval pomp and circumstance.
I don't deny.
Then I can report it.
Miss Carter, you've been keeping secrets from your first lieutenant, sir.
Can't stand the competition.
You coming to the party?
I'm not invited.
Oh, nonsense. Come as my wife, and you can keep that pretense up for as long as you like.
Did you want something, James?
Boats alongside, sir.
Thank you.
Sir? Miss Carter?
I suppose if I don't take you, you'll gate crash?
Through a window, on a broomstick. Flying the Union Jack, of course.
May I introduce Miss Zoe Carter?
Miss Carter,
Mr. Z.
you are new to the consulate?
No, I'm HMS Hero's camp follower.
I beg your pardon?
I'm Edward's fiancée.
Ah, I understand. You are to be congratulated, Captain Holt.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get some food. I'm starving.
Good idea. It's interesting.
Not bad at all.
Good evening. I'm the consul, Vincent Cobham.
James Napier, sir. And this is Bill Kiley.
How do you do, sir?
My sympathies.
On what, sir?
Being sent to this dump. Ah, the Navy is outraged. A consul should always speak with forked tongue.
Not at all, sir, but...
Well, I'm a straight talker. I always have been.
Yes.
There's a penalty to it, of course. Eventually, they banish you. You end up in some backwater like this.
You don't enjoy Locloon, sir?
Napoleon had a better time on Elm.
But it's a very important place now, sir.
The oil. We won't get a drop of it.
We have to try.
Forget it. Drink the wine and chase the girls. Locloon's got nothing else.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Akiku.
I'm Paul. Paul Peake, navigating officer in HMS Hero.
Oh, is that important?
No. Well, yes, I suppose it is, really.
Navigating officer.
Yes.
However did you find the Locloon? We're such a tiny speck on the sea.
Turn left out of Hong Kong, you can't really miss it.
Finish that. I get you another.
No, I'll nurse this one for a while, if you don't mind.
But the party's just beginning.
Yes, I know, but we've been told to go rather easy on the drinks. Evidently our host doesn't approve.
Our host? Oh, him. No, he doesn't.
Is he as bad as they say?
He's worse.
You're not...
I'm his daughter.
You know Hong Kong, of course.
Indeed. One of my favorite cities.
Oh, thank you, no. I think, sir, from what I've seen, Locloon can match it in grandeur.
Perhaps. Our hope is that we can match it in modernization, in progressiveness.
Oh, but the oil will do that for you.
Ah, yes. The oil. The elixir for all our difficulties.
It's made you a rich country.
Potentially rich, Miss Carter. The oil is still beneath the sea.
And plenty of willing hands and technical know-how to help you drill it, surely.
To help us, Miss Carter?
We're monopolizing you, sir. I know my officers are all hoping to meet you.
You must talk with your consul, Captain Holt.
Sir?
Your diplomacy is enviable. If you will excuse me.
So, our consul's unpopular.
Like questions about oil.
Rubbish. He probably hasn't had a good, honest question and answer session for as long as he can remember.
Well, a cocktail party isn't the place.
Agreed. I'm going to ask him for an interview.
Don't you dare.
Is that an order, sir?
It's a request.
Request denied. On cap and about turn.
And what's with this fiancé nonsense?
Oh, don't worry, Edward. I'll turn you back into a pumpkin at midnight.
I promised myself on the last day at Dartmouth, command at sea first, then marriage after that.
It must be very difficult for you
What?
to wait and to turn down all those girls.
Well, yes, but...
Hello, my lovely Akiko.
Hello, George.
Introduce me to your new friend.
George Chang, Paul Peak.
You're enjoying Loch Lune?
Very much.
And you, of course, are more beautiful than ever. Igoha, Igawa.
What's his name? George Chang.
George? George Chang. Well, well, Bill Kiley. Now, don't tell me you've forgotten.
No, of course not.
Well, come and tell me all about yourselves. Excuse us. Fancy seeing you again after all these years.
They have never met, have they?
No, but it'll take Mr. Chang 20 minutes to find that out.
Oh, yes, sir. Chat. It's on the River Medway, you know.
Oh, James, fixed yourself for dinner tonight.
No, I was plotting how to whisk Miss Carter away from you, sir.
Oh, good. You've got the job.
Do you mind being detailed for escort duty?
I'm delighted, but...
I got Mr. Z and the consul. Dinner on board.
Oh, yes.
And he refuses to take me.
I can't. It's down as a stag do. Port, cigars, and boredom.
Shall we go and get drunk, James?
Thank you.
Much better. On our own.
Much. You are really very nice, aren't you?
Well, my mother thinks so. Oh, Kiko. I'm sorry I put my foot in it earlier about your father.
You haven't. My mother's dead, and my father and I are not good friends. He's so straight.
It is a fact, Captain, however sad.
Ignored is a little strong, Mr. Z.
Is it? Do you know when the last Royal Naval ship called at Loch Lune before HMS Hero? It was the battleship HMS Howe, just after the Second World War.
And I think so. The term ignored is justified. Some port?
No, thank you.
No. No. Mr. Cobbo.
Thank you. But it was the British who liberated Loch Lune from the Japs.
It was, in fact, the Americans, Mr. Cobbold. My wife, who was Japanese, wrote an account of it.
Well, sir, I hope now that HMS Hero has found her way back, Loch Lune will soon see the White Ensign more often.
I have no doubt of that.
Oh, he granted an audience readily enough. 11 o'clock tomorrow.
I'm not sure that I'd be looking forward to talking with Mr. Z. Too much like hard work.
Must be jolly interesting, though. Going around the world, talking to people.
The trick is to listen, Kenneth.
We've been telling him that for months.
Have chopsticks, will travel.
Right. Good night, fellas.
Good night, sir.
Good night, Miss Carter.
Paul, I must get home.
Well, it's early.
I have to be home by 11, and out of my father's rules.
Can I see you tomorrow?
Yes, please. Can you get an afternoon off?
Yes. I'm head of my own department. Well, sub-department.
We can have a picnic. I will collect you from the ship about 2 o'clock. What do you like to eat?
I doubt that I'll be able to eat anything. I think I've lost my appetite for such ordinary things as food.
I think I have lost my heart to a very unordinary man.
You've seen the old bore on his way, have you?
I don't find him a bore, Mr. Cobbold. On the contrary, I find him an extremely shrewd and challenging man.
You're wasting your time, you know.
Oh?
He's going to give the oil to the Americans.
My orders are simply to show the British presence in these waters.
Goodwill gesture, eh?
Goodwill visit, certainly.
Goodwill's cheap. It's strong American dollars against a shaky pound. That's what counts.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. For a man like Z.
He's Chinese.
Yes?
Devious.
Strictly off the record, Mr. Cobbold, I may say that I find him a good deal less objectionable than I find you.
Now, steady on, now, chap. We are on the same side.
And that is what distresses me most.
Now, look here, Captain. You don't have to live and work with these people. They don't like the British.
At times, neither do I.
Well, I better be getting along.
Well, thank you for coming. Without you here, I dare say it would have been even more difficult.
A last cause, old chap. Last cause.
Oh, I must go. Think of me.
Every minute. Till 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Oh, hell.
Captain, is the first lieutenant in the wardroom? I see. Thank you.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Morning, Gordon. I trust you behaved impeccably towards Miss Z.
Better than that, sir. I proposed to her.
Does the air around here have that effect?
Oh, it's wonderful, sir. Everything about the place. Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
James?
8 o'clock, sir. Make it so.
Attention on the upper deck. Face down salute. Colours.
Carry on.
Carry on.
Are you in love? What? You haven't been up for colours for as long as I can remember.
Ah, well, sir, you see, this is the new me. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, responsible.
Well, if that last will stand easy, I'll buy you a drink. You may be doing that anyhow.
Surprised to find you here, James, after your late night.
Well, I've got youth on my side, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Onwards of my division, cigarettes.
Sit down, James. What's on the agenda today?
Football team's landing at 10:30, sir. Rugby and hockey this afternoon. Children's party at 1, various coach tours. Consuls, cocktails, and ship's company dance tonight.
Right.
How was dinner last night?
How was yours?
Terrific. Zoe and I found a super little restaurant in the main drag.
Good. I think I had rather less success.
With Z.
What can one offer the man who has everything?
Well, he hasn't got everything yet.
He will have when he gets the oil up.
And a great deal to do with it. A lot of poor areas in the town. Even Zoe's hotel's a bit basic.
Oh?
Well, there's no television in the room, no radio. A bathroom down the hall. It's a bit Wild West. If you'll excuse the geographical confusion.
I see.
Hola. This is Zoe Carter.
Ah, hola. 你請佢入嚟啦。
Miss Carter. Miss Carter, Mr. Z.
多謝啦。我哋只有半個鐘頭，好啊？Good morning, Miss Carter.
Good morning, Mr. Z. Again, it's kind of you to see me.
Please, sit down. You would like some coffee?
Yes, thank you.
攞2杯咖啡嚟啦。
Well below zero, I'd say.
What's that?
The temperature in Father's cabin. You haven't been winding him up, have you?
No. Matter of fact, I'm being nice to everyone today.
Oh, yes?
Yes. I want the afternoon off.
Oh, you'll be lucky.
Right, I need you this afternoon at the children's party. You're a pirate.
This is a matter of life and death.
That's what you said in Okinawa.
Well, as I recall, it was a matter of a pair of legs and a good figure.
This is different.
How different?
I'm going to marry her.
That's different.
Original, anyway. Very well, but I shall expect a report of proceedings on my desk in the morning before we sail. And you'll have to see a head shrinker when we get back to Hong Kong.
You can talk. You fancy Zoe Carter, don't you?
Ah, but that's love of a mature kind, not a grapple beneath the cherry blossoms.
Then are you saying that you will not give the oil concessions to the British?
The decision, whatever it may be, will be made by the government, not by me.
But your recommendation will be crucial.
It will be noted, I have no doubt.
The British?
Miss Carter, you may say that there are no favorites, no front-runners in this race. As I see it, we owe no more and no less to the British than to the Americans, or the French, or the Russians, or the Australians.
So you're impressed by none of them?
I am impressed by honor, Miss Carter. By sacrifice, by loyalty, by decency. Greed does not impress me at all.
Attention in the boat.
And a 3-line whip for the consul tonight.
Well, they all know, sir, but I'll jog their memories.
Hi. Thanks again for last night, James. It was sweet of you. Now your turn, Edward. You're going to give me lunch.
Come in. Thank you, James. The usual?
Thanks. I came to tell you something.
Oh?
About Z. You'll have to pull something very unusual out of the hat if you want to win there.
Did Z say that?
Not in so many words. But he certainly doesn't feel he owes the Brits any favours.
Yes, I know. I'm sure I should be doing better, but...
How did dinner go last night?
Slowly and rather painfully.
Did you go ashore?
No. I read a book about Loucloon sayings and proverbs until 3 o'clock this morning.
Good Lord. Did you learn anything?
From the book or from staying up?
What?
Nothing. What would you like for lunch?
place really is beautiful.
It used to be a temple.
Really?
I hope I brought enough.
Oh, almost forgot. There. See how much I love you?
Hmm?
Smuggling. Even risking my career for you.
Would you?
Would I what?
Risk your career for me.
For you, I'd pinch the knickers off the first Sea Lord.
By the way, I'm going back tonight
Back where?
to Hong Kong.
Well, you sail in the morning. Can't you stay until tomorrow?
There's not another direct flight until Friday. I'm sorry. I didn't check the flights till after I'd seen Z.
In other words, now you've seen Z, there's no point in staying.
No, that's not true.
Do I? We haven't had much time together yet.
You haven't had much time.
No.
What is it?
Oh, one of those Leclune sayings. Something about happiness being a butterfly. You can catch it in your hands and cling to it, but it'll die. Or you can set it free and take a chance it'll fly away.
I'm not flying away.
You are.
I'm going back to Hong Kong, and you're going back to Hong Kong too.
So is James.
James? What's he got to do with it? Edward, he took me out for dinner last night at your request.
I got back on board at 2:55 this morning.
Oh,
Yes. Oh.
if you don't trust me, you might trust him. He's your friend.
He's my first lieutenant. I first met him the same day I met you.
Then for his sake, let me put the record straight. Yes, he came back to my room after dinner, and yes, he stayed until 2:30, talking about you, about the responsibility you feel in this Leclune thing and what we could do to help. My whole interview with Z was slanted towards trying to find one clue which might help you to get through to him, and one clue which might make you happy. Don't worry about your butterfly living long enough to fly away. You're strangling it to death.
Look up there.
That rock? Looks like a woman with a child on her back.
That's exactly what it is. The Armor Rock. There's a legend about it. A love story.
Tell me.
A fisherman's wife always went up there to await his return. He perished at sea, but she watched and waited there for 1 year, until the gods transported her and her child to the husband and left that monument to her fidelity.
Will you wait for me?
I can't, Paul. I'm promised in marriage.
What?
My father believes in old-fashioned principles and custom. He has already selected my husband.
Who?
You met him at the party last night. George Chang.
George Chang? But he's too old for you. Do you love him?
No, I love you.
But don't worry. I'll speak to your father.
It would do no good. I'm 20 years old and he still treats me as if I was 14.
Oh, don't get upset.
If I can't get away from Leclune, I would be married to George Chang in 6 weeks and 3 days.
Listen. You could get to the airport and get a flight to Hong Kong before your father knows you've gone. I'll give you the fare.
My father knows that I want to escape. The authorities at the airport and the shipping lines have been warned.
He can't do that.
He's done it. Remember that he's the Minister for the Foreign Affairs, and everyone knows that he will be the President. Besides, he has my passport locked up in a safe in his office. Paul, there is only one way. Can you smuggle me on board of your ship?
Hero? You mean let you stow away?
Yes.
We'd never get away with it. Besides, I couldn't hide you in a frigate.
You could try, if you love me.
I do.
Then get me to Hong Kong. We can be married there. I will have a British passport and British citizenship. My father couldn't touch me.
I can't do it, Akiko. I really can't.
A butterfly, sir?
Yes, that's right, number one. A butterfly. In silver or gold.
Well, wouldn't you rather get it yourself, sir, if I hold the fort here?
Yes, I would. But I've got the consul coming to see me and I can't get away.
Aye, aye, sir.
All right. I'll do it.
Oh.
Somehow. No, listen. Are you going to the consul's party tonight?
Yes, so it's my fault.
But don't worry about that. I'll work something out and give you details at the party.
What are you doing here?
Playing a cross between Cupid and Western Union.
What?
From Ho San, with love.
Oh. Oh, it's beautiful.
Well, I'm sure you know what it's all about.
Yes, I do. You tell Ho-san that the butterfly feels much healthier and may see him in Hong Kong.
May.
But that's the whole point, James. The butterfly must be free to fly away.
Oh, it must.
Well, this one must. I have to go. And fly away. Bye. Thank you.
You did what?
I got carried away, sir.
Sit down. You realize the nausea it would cause? British warship kidnaps daughter of Lo Clune minister?
Yes, sir.
They're the biggest diplomatic incident since Helen of Troy.
Yes, sir.
Well, you'll have to tell her, Paul. We sympathize, but we can't help. At least not by stowing her away on board.
No, sir.
If, after you've thought about it for a few days, you still want to marry the girl, I'll write to Z on your behalf.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, move 'em out. And remember, same rules as last night.
Kenneth.
Yes, sir?
Did you meet Miss Z?
She's the little bird you were with last night.
She's
isn't
the
she,
young
sir?
lady I was with last night. Yes, Kenneth.
Sorry, sir.
I want you to give her a message from me.
Yes, sir?
Tell her I've been forced to remain on board, on ship's business. And say that I'm very, very sorry, but I won't see her before we sail.
Yes, sir.
Where's the bosun's mate?
On the wing.
Can I borrow for a moment? I want to move a camphor-wood chest.
That thing's still in your cabin. Been at sea for 2 days.
And that's 2 nights in a camphor-wood chest. Wish I could remember why I bought the thing in the first place. We'll put it in the spare cabin for the time being. Damn thing's topped up with stores. Leave it, thanks. Come out of there, now.
Close the door, pilot. You are the biggest fool ever to step on board a ship. More, you're criminally insane.
I don't understand, sir.
Come in, please.
Kiko? Not me, sir. I didn't bring her on board.
She was in the spare cabin, Paul, and she would have needed officer help to get in and out when nature so dictated.
Yes, sir. Well, it wasn't me, sir.
Who got you on board?
I've got nothing to say.
That won't help.
All I will say is that I did it to be with Paul.
I give you my word, sir. I didn't even go to the consul's party. I sent a Kiko a message via the midshipman.
That's true, sir. Young Vidler was with Miss Z throughout the party, all over her like a rash.
Get the midshipman. Don't say anything to him, just get him in here.
Yes, sir.
Please return to the night cabin, Miss Z.
What are you going to do?
Draft a signal for a start, and think about my resignation later.
Midshipman Vidler, sir.
Vidler, we know you smuggled Miss Z on board and hid her in the spare cabin. Why?
Well, she's being forced to marry this terrible old man called Chang, sir, and... Well, I was going to tell you, sir. I just didn't know how.
But you knew how to get her on board.
She got me a bit drunk, sir, at the party.
And?
Well, she made me take her on board, supposedly for a drink, and she failed to leave afterwards.
Her luggage?
Took that on board myself, with some bits of shopping.
If your task book was as inventive, you'd have a much better chance of qualifying as an officer.
Yes, sir.
I'll deal with you in due course. Meantime, you're confined to your cabin.
Aye, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I meant to tell you.
Get out, Kenneth.
All right.
I'm sending this to Cobbold. Request you seek urgent diplomatic clearance from Minister of Foreign Affairs for my return to territorial waters to land by boat a package belonging to the Minister and inadvertently taken to sea. Minister will understand and be grateful for your dealing personally with him in this matter. I'll also tell the Ministry of Defense and the FCO. I don't want the reputation of being a slave trader.
Can we have a word, sir?
Yes.
Well, the girl's here now. And in 24 hours, we'll be in Hong Kong.
Yes, sir. She could be my responsibility.
She's my responsibility, because she's a stowaway in my ship. And for the last time, we cannot afford a diplomatic incident.
But there won't be an incident. She's got clothes with her toilet gear. Z must know she left of her own free will.
He knows she wanted to escape, sir. That's why he took away her passport.
Right. And if he was going to announce the kidnap of his daughter, we'd have heard by now. And he's in a tough position, too. Unless he wants to tell the world that his daughter hates him.
He won't do that, sir. He's a politician.
Z must know the girl is in Hero. And he can time any announcement with our arrival in Hong Kong and ask for a search. The fact remains that according to the customs of his country, Z is in the right. And the girl goes back to him. Now,
half a cable to run, sir.
Forecastle, bridge.
slow astern, both engines.
Slow stern, both engines. Slow stern, both engines.
Have you got everything ready, Miss C?
Yes, thank you.
Both engines cleared slow stern, sir.
Let go, sir. Let go.
Attention, boats!
Will you please come in?
Captain Holt, Lieutenant.
I have to apologize, sir, for HMS Hero's part in this affair, and for causing you such anxiety.
Thank you. I must apologize, too, for the embarrassment brought to you by my daughter.
The young man who assisted in her escapade shall be dealt with.
Not harshly, I hope. I'm sure my daughter was totally to blame.
Sir.
Yes, Lieutenant?
Sir, I'm in love with your daughter. But she's 20 years old. Won't you allow her to choose her own life? She doesn't want to marry George Chang. She doesn't even...
Please, sit down. Lieutenant, that is my daughter's passport. From it, you will see that she is not 20, but 16 years old. And George Chang is not her intended, but her uncle. A month or two ago, we had an American cruiser in Loklun. Akiko met on board a young ensign and believes that she has fallen in love with him. The young man came and asked for her hand, but because of her age and the brevity of their acquaintance, I refused. I have told them that they may write to each other and that the young man may use my home as his own during his leaves. I believe the American cruiser is due in Hong Kong next month.
I'm sorry, sir.
I am grateful to you, Captain, for the way in which you handled this and spared my daughter's name. In return, I trust that my poor influence may help to ensure that the true purpose of your visit here enjoys success.
Thank you, sir.
I think you'd better take care of this, sir.
Anchor clear of the water, sir.
Slow ahead both engines, port 15.
Slow ahead both engines, port 15. Steer 176.
Steer 176.
What was all that about the butterfly, sir?
Old Chinese saying about a lady's heart.
Course 176.
Very good.
There is another old Chinese saying, sir.
Yes?
Confucius says women are like buses. There'll be another one along in a minute.